Okay, I think we could go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to the Office of Economic Development Business Information Session. My name is Margaret McGee and I'm the Business Services Manager. Business services assist entrepreneurs and business owners in starting and growing their business. We help in navigating through the different departments within city government to obtain permits and licenses. We also connect the business community with organizations that can provide technical assistance, incentives, resources, and other programs beneficial in operating a business. One way we do this is to host business information sessions. These sessions are held
You muted yourself, Margaret.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry. So how much of that was muted?
You need to start back from business information sessions.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. So these are this is a series of 3 sessions focusing on funding opportunities. Today we have Ms. Joy Collin, the founder and executive director of Giving Joy, a nonprofit that strengthens and inspires women entrepreneurs worldwide. We also have Mr. Sylvester Johnson, the business development officer with NewCorp, Inc., a community development financial institution, also known as a CDFI, whose mission is to support small businesses, lending, affordable housing, and community revitalization. They both will share information about their organization and funding opportunities available. To keep down distractions, I ask that attendees turn your videos off and mute your speakers. I also ask that you put any questions you may have in a chat box and we'll get to those in the Q&A section. All handouts provided to me will be shared with the attendees 24 to 48 hours after the meeting has ended. Now I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Joy and she'll be followed by Mr. Sylvester.
Margaret, thank you so much for inviting me. Hi, everybody. As Margaret said, my name is Joy Collin. I'm the founder and executive director of Giving Joy. I prepared a little PowerPoint presentation that Margaret will share with you. So let me share my screen and we can go from there, okay? I can actually share my screen. Hold on. Okay. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, save your questions for the end because I can't see them also when you're in the chat, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions. So our tagline is micro grants, macro impact, global reach, and you'll realize why in a few minutes. So as Margaret said, our mission is we really focus on strengthening and inspiring and empowering women entrepreneurs around the world. And how do we do that? We do this through one-time micro grants, which are $500, and we have mentorship programs. So if you get a grant, we provide mentorship to you. We connect you with other past winners. We also can provide help with grant writing, financial management, monitoring and evaluation, working with donors, so on and so forth. We also sometimes we also provide workshops on grant writing and financial management that are separate from the awards to to entrepreneurs like you who are interested. So that's another option. And our vision is we envision a world where women have the equal opportunity to support and sustain themselves and their families with dignity. So we're not there yet, but we're getting there. So just a little bit about me. So I have about 20 years of experience in the field of international development. I've lived overseas in African countries for many years, and I've been to actually 72 countries through work and travel, which I really love. And one thing that I kept on seeing again and again and again is that women really had the ideas, they had the creativity, they knew what they wanted to do, but they didn't have the capital sometimes to start or expand or enhance. And so that's really kind of what they all said that they needed is just a little bit of capital as a boost or as a stepping stone for their business or their nonprofit or whatnot. And so with that kind of information in mind, I decided to put my own money in and start giving joy. I'll tell you in a second how many grants we've given. So it's definitely some of the things I've definitely learned how to pivot. And I had one vision when I started, and then opportunities just happened and I kind of ran with it. And that really helped the organization to grow and be sustained. So let me just explain a little bit. That's what kind of Margaret asked me to do, to explain to you how the grants actually work. So basically, we want the ideas to come from you. We don't want to dictate what the idea should be. So that's why any woman, no offense to the men on the call, but any woman in any technical field or area, it doesn't matter. We've funded agriculture, health, environment, human rights, really anything, and different types of businesses from chicken, growing chickens to dairies to spices. So it's the whole gamut. So any woman over 18 can apply. And they said they're one-time micro grants. We usually give one-time $500 as a boost or as a stepping stone, as I mentioned, towards either an existing business, a new business, a nonprofit, or an idea. And the thing is, what kind of makes us a little bit different, we also don't limit the geography. So you can be in any country in the world. And like, for example, we have given grants in the United States in 6 different states. Actually, Louisiana, we have not given a grant in Louisiana yet. So there's an opportunity there. So what is really important to us is that what you propose to do with the $500 really needs to be not about you, but about others. It's about, we call it the multiplier effect. So how much impact can that $500 do? Okay, so it's again, it's about the impact on your family, on your community, and at large. So the grant can provide initial capital. It also, we've discovered that it really builds confidence of the applicants. And hands down, they all say that, getting this grant and someone believing in them who doesn't know them really helped them kind of move forward. And as I said, it has to enhance the livelihood of the woman, her family, and the community at large. So as I said that, I learned a lot along the way and we pivoted a lot. And I am very glad to say that we've awarded 77 grants from my initial seed money to now we have some corporate sponsors and many more individuals who are actually donating to us to make this possible. We've awarded grants in 24 countries. And it is very competitive. I don't know how people find us, but our last round, which ended not that long ago, we had 4,119 applications from over 70 countries. So we don't advertise or anything. The form is very simple. I'll get into that in a second. But, you know, clearly there's a need and you're like, oh, $500, what am I going to do with $500? And maybe, you know, in India, it goes longer way. But as you can see, in the United States, we also gave money. It depends like what you do with it. How creative can you be with small amounts of money? And they've the applicants have come up with very, very, very interesting ideas. So again, just to give you an example of the impact of the grants, because you think, they're kind of small. So again, a micro grant, but macro impact and global reach, as you see. So we did a survey with our past grant winners, and 89% of them said that the grant increased their confidence, which is amazing. 67% said that the grant helped them increase their revenue. 45% said they were able to provide more services to their communities. And also 45% said that they actually trained other women to have a skill, and that enabled them now to have a decent living. So you can see that, again, the multiplier effect is in action and it works. So let me go really quickly. How do you apply? So we try to make this as simple as possible, again, because it's not that much money. And also, I come from a background of applying for grants. So I'm a grant writer myself. And so I sometimes would get so frustrated with donors, how arduous it was, how hard it was to apply, and they need all these forms and all that. And you would go through all these hoops and you didn't even understand what they were asking you for. So I tried to mitigate that by having a very simple online application. And I think that's another reason why we get so many, because you can do them on your phone, actually. So if you go to givingjoygrants.org, to the grant application, this is what you'll see. It's a screenshot, and you just press on the apply today, and then the form comes up. So we have 2 grant cycles. One of them is from January 1st to the April 30th, and then we award the grant in the fall. So that we that round just ended. So the next round that you guys can apply to is June 1st to September 30th. And then we'll award the grant sometime in spring 2025. So we only accept applications that are online through our form because it's not fair. We don't consider unsolicited proposals that we get through email. And I can't mention this enough because every day we get applications from people through email, and then I have to tell them, no, it's on, go to the website. And everything that I'm saying to you is on the website. So I don't know what's the problem. So I beg of you, don't send me an email with an application for a proposal. Go to the website. And it's really, this is the form. When you click on apply today, it's a form. It basically has 10 questions: who you are, what you do, what is your idea, what you would do with the $500, what is the impact, how many people you estimate it will impact, and that's about it. So it's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. You just need to be like really clear about your idea. And so this takes me to what's important to actually include. So make sure that you're filling out all the forms that are mandatory. Sometimes people don't do that, and then they get you know, that like a red notification saying that they couldn't submit it. Why? Because they didn't fill out all the mandatory fields, for example. So your proposed grant must have a social benefit to your community and must must go beyond the financial aspects of your business. So it has to have a social impact idea in there. Okay, it could be anything, but I'll give you an example. We get over 4,000 applications, right? About 1,000 of those were mentioning that they need a sewing machine or that they need an oven, but they're not mentioning why and what is the reason. Or they say, or I need a sewing machine just for my business. So that's not justification enough, and is not enough differentiating you between you and the other 999 women who asked for a sewing machine. So you really need to have an idea that is innovative and creative and justify why say you need a sewing machine, for what reason, how does it go beyond just your business? And the more specific you are, the better. Those are really the things that make your application stand out, and that we would really consider it. So how do we actually score your application? And again, all of this information is in the frequently asked questions that are on the grant application page. So full disclosure, very transparent. So there were 4 criteria which we evaluate your application: the degree of alignment with our mission, that your proposed grant activities are innovative and creative and will have a positive impact on multiple people, both the individual, families, and communities. The effective use of grant funding for your proposed activities. So I'll give you an example. Sometimes we get applications that say, I will use the $500 to help with the development of a well, let's say, in some community. But the well does not cost $500. It costs $10,000 or $100,000. So the $500 goes into a larger pool of money for that activity. So in our mind, that's not effective use of the grant, because it's going to be very hard for you, the awardee, to actually measure the impact of it. And one of the things we try to do very much so, and you can look at that on our website, is to measure the impact of the grant, because donors really like to see, if I'm giving money, I want to know where it's going. So the grant impact is also clearly outlined, well articulated, and measured. So if you're proposing, let's say, to train women, train them on what? How? How many women are you going to train? What is going to happen to them after the training? How are they going to use the training afterwards? How are you actually going to help them increase their income? So on and so forth. So again, you don't have to write a PhD here, but I think just think about it a little bit and write very clearly and simple, and that's all we ask. So that's it from me. Our contact information is info@givingjoygrants.org. Feel free to email us questions, go to the website, check us out, and I'm happy to answer questions here as well. So I will stop sharing my screen.
Okay, now we'll turn it over to Joy. Did you have to leave a little early?
Did I have what?
Did you have to leave a little early? I know you said it.
No.
Okay, we'll turn it over now to Mr. Sylvester, and we'll do the questions once he finishes his presentation.
That's spectacular. So I am going to share my screen now. Let's see here. We'll share that. Presentation. Can everybody see there?
Yes.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvester Johnson, and I'm the Business Development Officer at NewCorp. I thank Margaret for giving us the opportunity to present here today. And she's already given you a little bit about NewCorp and what we do, so I'm going to be quick on the NewCorp overview so we can get into some business lending and other things that we're involved in. Okay, so we'll talk about NewCorp now. Then we'll go through the loan products. I want to talk about some underwriting factors as well, the different loan documents that we require, and then finally we'll talk about how to apply. All right, NewCorp. Now, we're a little bit different than Miss Joy. We are actually a lender. So, unlike grant providers, uh, we are a lending institution that focuses on getting capital into the hands of the population that has been marginalized or at times is shut out of the traditional lending environment. So NewCorp's been around for over 25 years, and we have continued to proudly and ambitiously, if I might say, provide capital, counseling, technical assistance to small and to moderate minority and women-owned businesses that often have difficulty, like I mentioned before, accessing these funds from any traditional sources. So CDFI lenders are often focused on the community that is forgotten at times by traditional lenders. So CDFI, let me explain that. That is a community development financial institution. So there are many different types of CDFIs, but we are focused on the community and doing our best to work as we can to focus on an ecosystem that can be nurtured and helped through the process of a business organization, uh, business capitalization, and hopefully business expansion and growth and expansion. So we do our best to create, because we're able to create these products and services that can support equity and equality. And we want to make sure that we not only support these different businesses, but we connect businesses socially and economically so that they can do their best to live symbiotically and grow together in the community. Because if only one person or one business is experiencing growth, it's really not giving the community all of the life and vibrancy that it needs. So not only are we focused on lending, but we want to give technical assistance through our programs and along with partners in our ecosystem that can help businesses from startup to growth stages understand exactly what it is that they need so that they can build and sustain their business models. Okay, it's very important to understand that NewCorp, unlike some other CDFIs, we are not a bank. So we don't hold on to deposits. You can't walk into our office, open an account, and deposit funds. That's not how we operate. We actually operate through state-funded programs, federally funded programs, philanthropy, grants that we raise dollars for, so that some of the philanthropists and the philanthropy arms of other lenders who cannot, under FDIC rules, because they're holding on to your money, they cannot share or lend that money because they may have to be a little risk averse in protecting the deposits that they hold on to. We, on the other hand, can stretch our underwriting box a little bit differently so that we do everything that we can to get monies into the hands of those people that would normally be turned down at the bank. So as we move forward, we have a suite of products, and these three products that are on the screen right now are the products that we are focused on. So we have, as you see in the top left-hand corner, the Bill NOLA Mobilization Fund. Now, that fund provides DBE subcontractors access to capital so that they're able to participate in larger scale projects. So instead of only being able to focus on small scale projects, the DBE subs through this lending vehicle are able to work with larger primes and larger projects. We also have our own revolving capital fund. Now, the revolving capital fund is money that is loaned to small businesses that are emerging or that are in growth stages, so that they can ensure that they have access to capital to buy equipment, to expand their operating funds, and at times to finish build outs of their newly acquired or newly leased spaces. Now, though that does not always include the purchase of real estate, but the renovation of real estate is something that we can and are often involved in. And then to the right side of the screen, you'll see the SSBCI microloan program. Now, that's a program that's established through the state of Louisiana and the Louisiana Economic Development Department. They have funds that were earmarked by the federal government to support small business. The SSBCI acronym stands for State Small Business Credit Initiative. So the state has funds that are available for small businesses that are startups and that are looking to grow or expand. We will go into this in a little bit more detail in a little while, but that program has its own requirements, and we are a lender that does that works with LED to ensure the program is serviced properly. So first, we'll talk about the Bill No Mobilization Fund. Now, this is our most utilized product at the moment, and it's one of those products that we're very proud of. NewCorp began over 25 years ago, and it began with the need to facilitate small contractors, so small businesses that were contractors, and the need for those small contractors, minority and such, to be involved with the Harrah's Casino, the first land-based Harrah's Casino build out. It was important because it was one of the metrics that Harrah's needed to meet. It was important for them to have a vehicle that would help these subcontractors work with Harrah's and give them the technical assistance needed to be able to produce what they needed to produce for the casino. Through that, we grew in our technical assistance phase and grew into a lender. And what we did as a lender, and after Hurricane Katrina, when all the funds came into the state and there was a need to incentivize prime contractors to use DBEs, the city of Louisiana, along with us, came with this Build NOLA Mobilization Fund. Now, the Build NOLA Mobilization Fund acts as a vehicle that will advance money to small business contractor in a non-predatory manner. So it wouldn't be anything that would resemble a cash now credit or anything that's going to prey on those small contractors and really put them underneath a heavier weight. This is simply a low interest advance amount that's based on the amount that the contract is signed for. So you have to be a DBE to access it. You have to have either a federal, state, or local DBE certification. You have to be a contractor that's that's in the state of Louisiana, and you have to operate here in order the project has to be either in Orleans Parish or have some connection to Orleans Parish. So the DBE must be an Orleans Parish entity, or the project must be here at the time where we are right now. We are looking to expand this program. As you see on the screen, the minimum credit score for this program is 500. So it goes down as low as 500 as long as there are no Chapter 7 bankruptcies within 12 months. As the pay apps are approved by the primes, we are able to advance the money to the sub so he can pay for materials, so he can pay for salaries or wages, so he can pay for the things necessary to keep the project going while he's waiting on the cash to come from the prime contractor. So the lending is based on the subcontract value, so it's not capped at a certain amount as a line of credit would be, as long as there's value on the contract and the payouts are being approved. NewCorp can continue to lend funds, and the interest rate on that is 2/3 of a percentage point. So not even 1%, but 2/3 of a percentage point per 30 days. So every 30 days that it's outstanding, it's 0.667% on the dollars that have been loaned. And it's a customized loan project. Like I said, the product is not a factoring product. It's not a cash advance product. It's not a traditional line of credit. It's this customized product for subcontractors so they are able to participate in larger scale projects. Secondly, which is our second most popular program right now, is the SSBCI microloan program. Now, like I said, SSBCI stands for State Small Business Credit Initiative. Now, the eligibility here is a minimum credit score of 600 and no unpaid collection accounts within 12 months of your application. Now, it will be available to businesses that have 2 years of relevant business experience. Then you would be required to provide taxes, both personal and business, and we would get a credit report and ensure that the application is filled out properly. But if you're a new business, if you're brand new and nothing has come, you only have an idea. If you provide a business plan, if you provide the pro formas or the projected dollars that may be made, your business can be considered as well. And these dollars start at as little as $1,000 and go up to $100,000. So you can get as much as 100,000. Now, 50,000 is a range where you won't. It can be unsecured. So there's no collateral that needs to be put up for between 1,000 and 50,000. There are no dollars that are required for to be held at from 1,000 to 50,000. It is a totally unsecured loan as long as you meet the eligibility requirements. So the interest rate on that loan is between 8. It says 12 there. I have not seen it over 10. Actually, I have not seen a 10 yet. I've seen 8, both 8 and 9%. Owners must sign a personal guarantee, and the max loan here is a 7-year loan. So the applicants will receive technical assistance services as they progress through the document submission and through the loan application. So we are here to hold your hand and help you through that process as well. And this money is, again, it's earmarked by the federal government coming through the state and the Louisiana Economic Development Department. Lastly, our revolving capital fund. Now, this is our fund, and normally it is used, their term loans as well. It's not a line of credit, but their term loans as well. And we usually use those for businesses that are both for-profit and nonprofits. They have a proven business model and they have at least 5 years of experience in their particular field. Now, they have to have a debt service ratio, a debt credit ratio of 1 to 1, 625 credit score, and no bankruptcies in the last year. That 625 credit score is not a firm number. We definitely have loaned to businesses and business owners that have credit scores under 625. It's really on a case-by-case basis. So in this particular loan, we do usually collateralize business assets, business equipment, or receivables. And anybody that's an owner of 20% or more must sign a personal guarantee. The use of funds, we can use it for operating capital, business assets, materials purchases, and our funding range there is between $50,000 and $250,000. But that loan term is capped at 5 years, and you see the loan rates there between 6 and 10%. So that's our personal revolving capital loan fund, and that is probably that's the one that's accessed the least, but it is available. It is available to our clients as well. So I want to take maybe 5 minutes here and talk a little bit about underwriting, because although we are CDFI that's focused on communities in need, there is an underwriting factor that goes with our loans, because, just naturally, if we're going to loan funds to small businesses, we need to be able to get those funds back so that we can recycle them and loan them to other small businesses. But giving money out that we're not going to get returned is not only a detriment to NewCorp, but it's a detriment to all the other small businesses that may be out there looking for loans. And if we've given dollars out that we have not gotten back, it does prejudice our ability to loan to them. So the decision factors when looking at underwriting in our underwriting box. So we look at the purpose and the repayment terms. So how you're going to use the money and how long it's going to take you to pay it back. We look at your repayment ability. Basically, do you have enough money to repay the dollars that we're giving you out on a monthly basis? And then lastly, we look at the credit history. And something that's not on here that we discussed earlier, we do look at experience. Are you able to run a business of this type? Do you have the skill set and ability to ensure that this is going to be a profitable venture? So when we talk about the loan structure, okay, what are you going to use the money for? We don't know, because we're not in business. We are the lender. It's very important that you know in a very detailed manner what the use of funds are. I'm going to use it to buy 2 typewriters, 3 computers, and a printer. I'm going to use it to buy 3 mops, 2 buckets, and a vehicle. Whatever it may be, it needs to be very detailed, and you need to know exactly what it is you're using your money for, and bring that to us so that it makes our underwriters comfortable understanding exactly what the money is going to be used for and how it's going to affect your business and its efficiency. Next, the repayment terms. The length of the loan repayment determines how much you're going to be paying monthly. So we certainly evaluate that amount of money to ensure that we are not, again, putting extra or undue pressure on you when you're trying to get the loan. If we're just giving you a loan so that you'll be even further underwater, we're doing you a disservice as much as we're doing ourselves a disservice. So that is something that is taken into account. As we move on and talk about that repayment ability, this is how we look at the DCR, or the debt credit ratio. All right, your gross cash flow. So all the money you make, okay, that is used to determine how much you have to repay this loan on an annual basis. Okay, so you take your net income plus your depreciation plus any interest expense. So that's net income. It's not your gross revenue. It's not if you make $1 million a year, but you have expenses worth 999,000. Then that net income, that $1,000, is what the cash flow is. That's what we're looking at when it's time to figure out if you're able to repay the loan. Okay. And then we look at all the rest of your debt service. If you have a credit card, if you have a home loan, if you have a car that you're paying for, we look at those new and existing loans to say, okay, he has this much cash flow, or she has this much cash flow, and then she has this many expenses. This is what's left. Now, if her loan payment is going to be $100, does she have that $100 available monthly to make uh, to make it work? And if you do, if you have the gross cash flow and your total debt service if they are equal, if you're able to cover all of your bills with your gross cash flow, then we'll be able to consider the loan. As you see there, we would much rather it be 1.25 times, but we know, especially small businesses, as they try to build their business, sometimes it can get a little tight. So we want to make sure that you are looking at that 1-to-1 when you come over to get a loan. Next, we look at your credit history. Again, in our underwriting box, credit history is not stagnant. Okay. Uh, People in the banking industry are right now, they're looking for 725, 730 to make sure that a business or a business owner is bankable. For us, we're in the 600s. So if we can get 600 as a credit score, we're happy. If we can get 650, that is something that we are certainly looking for, and we know that we can do it along that way. But under 650, again, we're not turning you away. We may just have a little closer scrutiny when we're taking a look at those loans and figuring out what we can do or how we can do something different to make it work. Okay, and most importantly, tax liens, collections, bankruptcies, judgments against you. Those are items you want to be sure to avoid. And if you have had them in the past, we want to make sure we take care of them and we work through them so that we're aware of where they were in your history and how they have been handled. So loan documents, okay? These are all loan documents that you need to familiarize yourself with before going to before applying coming into any institution that's gonna lend you money. So you want to have your background, a resume. Um, you want to familiarize yourself with your business financial statements, which are your balance sheet for your business and your profit and loss. Those are two items that your accountant can help you with, but don't just let your accountant do it. make sure you get the information so, and when asked about it, you guys can have a conversation that that will tell the lender a little bit about your business and make the lender comfortable that you know exactly where the money's coming from and where it's going out. So you see your business tax returns there, personal financial statements, personal tax returns, a business plan. All startups require a business plan, but I tell all of my clients that business plans are these living documents, and it makes all the sense in the world to keep one going. So if you can keep one going, that's perfect, even if you've been in business 3, 5 years, because you want to know where you're going. And then lastly, your articles of incorporation or organization and the show that you are in good standing with the Secretary of State, certainly. Now, how to apply. My email address is there. It is sylvester@newcorpinc.com. I will put it in the chat as well. You can email me to discuss business and loan programs that we may have that you heard about here. You can also visit our website, which is the handle there. It's www.newcorpinc.com. I'll put that in the chat as well. You can visit the website, look at some of the products that are still available there. And if you have any questions about those products, you can email me, or I'll put the phone number in the chat. You can call the office and ask for me. We are here in New Orleans, right on Columbus Street, parallel to Bayou Road. I'm happy to have a meeting here or come to you for a meeting if it's something you want me to take a look at, you want me to see, you want to go through so we can talk through where you are as a business. I'm happy to do that as well. It's my job, and it's no inconvenience at all. So I hope that giving you some of this information about what we're doing as a lender and some of the information that lenders in general are looking for. I hope that has been beneficial, and I look forward to talking to anyone who may have additional questions here after I close my presentation, or in the future if any additional questions come up. Thank you again, Margaret, for the opportunity, and I know this this slide deck will be provided to you guys, so you'll have that in your possession as well.
Yes, thank you so much, Sylvester and Joy. Very, very valuable information. And I see Joy put her website up in the chat. If you have a moment, definitely go over there and read some of the awesome stories from previous grantees. Really nice, really nice. And Sylvester is getting ready to put his information in there. Definitely visit, their website, see what programs they have available. And thank you so much for agreeing to meet with anyone that has questions, anything like that. I really appreciate you guys. So now the attendees, do you have any questions for our speakers? I didn't see anything in the chat box, just want to make sure nobody have that question in the back of their head and kind of scared to share it. Okay, I'm assuming you guys did an awesome job. There's no questions. I'm definitely had a lot of information presented to us. So we'll go ahead and get ready to close. I want to thank our guest speakers for providing a wealth of information and everyone for joining today. Within 5 to 10 business days, this session will be available on the Office of Economic Development YouTube channel, along with previous recorded sessions. Our next session is Tuesday, May the 21st. Our speakers are representatives from the National Asian Pacific Islander American Chamber and Entrepreneurship, also known as National ACE, and Hope Credit Union. Remember to check your emails for all reminders. I hope you guys will join us again. And always remember, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I'm here. Everybody knows my information, I hope. If not, I'll put that in the chat. So, and then we'll go ahead and kind of conclude this for today. And I hope to see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Margaret. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.